regulars here at the coffee shop at the SoulFood. Some are, some aren't.
Just have to set it up anywhere.
Well, if you are, then you're helping make me feel welcome because this is your place. Thank you for having me here. And if you're here because I'm here, thank you very much for coming to hear me and the guys. Works either way, doesn't it, really? I have a very, very, very microscopic merch perch today. This is because I damn near sold out the last thing, so I've got very few of some things left. And Glenn over there waving his paws in the air. He was waving his paws in the air. Timing, Glenn, we've got to work on this. You know. So I'll tell you more about that later. And we have some signers here. We have Autumn O'Leary and we have Corn Jenny. Corn Jenny is what I call her. That's not her name. It is your Talis name. I haven't had the privilege of seeing this live signing for music before. It's not something I've come across in the UK. So it's been a real treat to see that, and I'm thrilled to bits to have some signing today as well. That I get. Okay, let me know when you do.
For the very first time on our stage, please give a good, warm, SoulFood welcome for Talis and her friends today.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. I see a lot of friendly faces out there. For some are friendly faces, I know them, and I'm assuming the rest of you are friendly as well because you look friendly. So I'll work on that basis. Very good. Are we good? 2, 3, 4. I am the candle in your kitchen. I am the rain upon your face. I am the very best of reasons for any man to fall from grace. I am your maybe just one slow dance. I am the rhythm in your hips. I am the laughter in the darkness. I am the finger to your lips. And I am here though you won't see me, you won't hear me, you won't feel me. But I'm everywhere you are. I'm in the shifting of the weather and the finding of the feather. I'm everywhere you are, everywhere you are. I'll breathe you in while you lie sleeping. I'll fight beside you when you dream. I am the chalice at the wellhead that brings you water from the stream. I am the heart that holds your fire. I am the song that lets you sing. And on the chessboard of desire, I am the queen that makes the king. And I am here though you won't see me, you won't hear me, you won't feel me. But I'm everywhere you are. I'm in the shifting of the weather and the finding of the feather. I'm everywhere you are, everywhere you are. I am the keeper of the garden where sweet honeysuckle grows. I am the rowan at your gate, I am the scent within the rose. And I am here though you won't see me, you won't hear me, you won't feel me. But I'm everywhere you are. I'm in the shifting of the weather and the finding of the feather. I'm everywhere you are. I am the answer with no question. I am the glorious embrace. I am the candle in your kitchen. I am the rain upon your face. I am the candle in your kitchen. I am the rain, I am the rain, I am the rain upon you. I am the rain upon your face. Thank you. Now I gather we're being streamed tonight, so I'm not quite sure in which direction to wave, but hello to that way. Hi to everybody watching out there in the rest of the world. So, my wonderful band here, we've been rehearsing for in some cases days, and in some cases hours. I'd like to introduce Jerry Lynn first because she's jumped in at the very last minute on some things. Katie Tinney, who I believe has sung here before, some of you know. She was doing some backup vocals for me on the weekend, but she's not too well today. So when Jerry Lynn turned up expecting to do spoons, I flung some bits of vocal at her as well. And being the trooper, she has jumped in on that. I think many of you know Betsy Tinney, who is just the most marvellous cellist, and you are going to have to check my bags, you know, that she's not in them when I head home. Yeah, I could, well, we'll see. And and I'd like then to introduce you to my very dear friend from Winnipeg here, who is playing today guitar and djembe and doing some singing, Decadent Dave Clement. This is the title track of my newest CD. I've only got 5 copies here, don't make me take them home, guys. Spider catch what spider keeps, spider when you're fast asleep, spider spin and spider sew, who knows where the spider goes. This night I go to bed the queen of spindles, tomorrow I must wear another crown. This bitter silk I'm spinning, oh it burns me, but I keep the spindle turning round and round, and love will seal my lips to every murmur, for silence was the witch's best advice, and love will heal my hands of every blister, for that too is a portion of the price. I am the queen of spindles. Spider catch what spider keeps, spider when you're fast asleep. My lover keeps me prisoned here in darkness, my pyre is standing ready just outside. I've spun and woven scarce enough to save them. My brothers, will you realize I tried, nor am I quite alone here in my weaving. A spider makes a web above my head, nor shall I quite despair until they burn me, but I cannot break the spell when I am dead. I am the queen of spindles. Spider catch what spider keeps, spider when you're fast asleep. Spider spin and spider sew, who knows where the spider goes. Oh, now how can I have slept when such awaits me? And how are these shirts finished, all but one? See all my nettles spun to yarn and woven, and the spider's web still scarcely just begun. Well, morning brings the terror and the daylight. Mute, I sense my wicked brothers near. Fling what I have woven to them skyward, where once for 7 swans, 7 young men appear, and love will seal my lips to every murmur, for silence was the witch's best advice, and love will heal my hands of every blister, for that too is a portion of the price. I am the queen of spindles. Spider when you're fast asleep, I am the queen of spindles. Spider spin, spider sew, who knows where the spider goes. I am the queen of spindles. 7 years and 7 shirts, 1 swan wing, 1 broken curse. I am the queen of spindles. All my bitter silk is spun, all my bitter tale is sung, and look, the spider's web is done. Thank you very much. Trouble with having really awful writing is you can't see your set list. So you improvise. I know what we're doing next. Hey, I know what we're doing next. You don't.
Tell
I
us
do.
then.
You've got a list, Dave. Yeah.
No,
We're
I don't.
gonna. Okay. all right. Jerry Lynn has a list. So this was a title track of my first studio album, and so some of you may know it. If you do, please join in and sing with me. You might get the words right and I might get the words wrong, and we might have them in all interesting orders, which is fine because that means it'll be a unique presentation of that song for one night only. It's called Archetype Cafe. Lady Macbeth said to Helen of Troy, when they'd finished the wine they'd been drinking, I'm all for regicide once in a while, but Helen dear, what were you thinking? Helen looked back enigmatically, for she'd never much cared what her friends say. And the latest historic society meets down Archetype Cafe on Wednesday. Helen confided to the warrior Jeanne d'Arc, war would have happened without her. And Joan, with her visionary eyes all aflame, had seen killing enough not to doubt her. Cersei was conjuring bacon and eggs to the obvious delight of young Sylvie. And the ladies' historic society meets down Archetype Cafe on Wednesday. And Lady Macbeth chaired the meeting, gave an impassioned plea for us to hear of the maddened and murdering witches, hags, whores and bitches, history twisting the tale. Oh, they'll tell you Medea was jealous, they'll tell you Boudicca took poison and died, and they'll give you a line to yourself or a place on the shelf if you wedded a better known male. Meanwhile, across a crowded coffee shop, running back from the craft shop next door, Rapunzel was braiding the hair of the werewolf, who always wore scarlet for hunting, and Bonnie and Bolin were fencing again for the prize of a worn baby bunting. Ah, Josephine Baker's 12 Princesses dance, Isadora kept score with Salome, and the latest historic society meets down Archetype Cafe on Wednesday. And before Lady Macbeth speakers, questions rung out from the floor. We challenged our daughters' perceptions to change. We challenged our sons even more. And they'll tell you Medea was jealous, Cersei was wicked, and Solveig was hung. They'll tell you Peter was idolized, Mary was holy, poor Juliet was too young. They'll tell you that Helen was pretty, poor Joan was mad, Medea was jealous, and what was I, Vixie? I was just bad. And the latest historic society dines on the finest of foods and the choicest of wines. And if I knew where Archetype Cafe was now, I'd book us all tables for Wednesday. I would too. Thank you. Ah, right. Yes, definitely singing along on this next one. So some of my songs started a few years ago getting a little bit environmental, which I think is something that here in Seattle particularly you have a lot of sympathy with and energy for, is what I'm getting. So I carry a spoon with me when I travel. It lives in my handbag, so do my UK bandmates. Didn't I stir my tea with my own spoon?
Yes.
That's it, little knitted case, absolutely. The reason being that, there you go, there's Dave with his spoon.
Mine's a male spoon. It just lives in my pocket.
So, the thing is, you go to a festival or something and you get your pot of, vegetable korma, and they give you a plastic spoon. This is because it's, you could just have a metal spoon, but isn't it so much easier, so much simpler to go dig a hole in the ground and get out the oil and ship it to shore and refine it and shape it and stick it in more plastic and drive it halfway around the world and buy it, because that would be simpler, right? Or not? This spoon is dirty, oh, what shall I do?
Oh, you could wash
Should
the
we
damn
take that
spoon.
again?
Yeah.
Should we take that again? I think so.
sorry.
Your line is, you could wash the damn spoon.
Yes.
And since the guys on the stage have forgotten it,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to rely on you
I'm
lot,
the
all right?
audience. Yes.
You could wash the damn spoon. This spoon is dirty, oh, what shall I do?
You could wash the damn
That's it.
spoon.
I'll make me another all shiny and new.
Or you could wash the damn spoon.
Hey,
wash the damn spoon. Wash the damn spoon. Or you could wash the damn spoon.
That's it. That comes up a lot, so that's what I want you to kind of go with me, all right? I'll dig me a well that goes all the way down.
You could wash the damn spoon.
'Cause that's where the black stuff is generally found.
Or you could wash the damn spoon.
I'll ship
Wash.
it ashore in a dirty great boat.
You could wash the damn spoon.
And if she should founder, the oil will flow.
Or you could wash the damn spoon.
Hey,
wash the damn spoon. Wash the damn spoon. Or you could wash the damn spoon.
Hey, wash the damn spoon.
Wash the damn spoon. Or you could wash the damn spoon.
I'll get it refined so it knows to behave.
You could wash the damn spoon.
And melt it and mold it to the shape that I crave.
Or you could wash the damn spoon.
Then I'll wrap it in pieces with 10,000 more.
Or could wash the damn spoon.
And drive for a week till we get to the store.
Or you could wash the damn spoon.
Hey,
wash the damn spoon. Wash the damn spoon. Or you could wash the damn spoon. Wash the damn spoon. Wash the damn spoon. Or you could wash the damn spoon.
I'll ring up the price, but it says on the tag.
You could wash the damn spoon.
And carry it home in a nice plastic bag.
Or you could wash the damn spoon.
Now it's takeaway chicken with noodles for two.
You could wash the damn spoon.
Now my spoon is dirty and what shall I do?
Or you could wash the damn spoon.
Oh, yeah.
Wash the damn spoon. Wash the damn spoon. Or you could wash the damn spoon.
Hey,
wash the damn spoon. Wash the damn spoon. Or you could wash the damn spoon.
Say,
Wash the damn spoon. Wash the damn spoon. Or you could wash the damn spoon. Wash the damn spoon. Wash the damn spoon. Or you could wash the damn spoon.
Thank you. I've actually got a couple of caterers in England who are going to start having pots of spoons when they set up their stall at festivals. And they're going to sell the spoons for like 20p. And if you bring your spoon back, you get 20p off your meal, you see. So there you go. Anyway, Jerry Lynn Cornish, people stepped in on that. Thank you so much. Absolutely. I only met Jerry a couple of days ago. Betsy said she plays the spoons. Oh, yes. Yes. She's awesome. Right. I write on a broad range of subjects. Politics, history. You never know what's going to take my fancy and pop out as a song. Recently, I was privileged to go up to London for the Leonardo da Vinci exhibit, which is on there at the moment in the National Gallery. And I've got pictures from all over the place that you don't often get to see and never before together in this exhibit. It was, in fact, my daughter's idea of a birthday trip. And I thought, okay, yeah, we can do that. So we got to see the two Madonnas of the Rocks in the same room at the same time, which Leonardo never did because he painted them something like 20 years apart, apparently. And we got to see the lady with the ermine, Cecilia Gallerani. And pictures don't usually do it for me. I'm a words and music kind of a girl. I go for the story and I go for the music. But this one, I stood there and I wept because it was so damn beautiful. Then I had to find out a little more about her. So this is a song I premiered some days ago. I have no idea what day of the week we're on. I'm 8 hours out of sync from where I live. Is it? It was. It can't be Saturday now. It could be a week next Tuesday for all I know, really. I think this probably is. So this is a very new song, and I'm very glad to share it with you. It's called Cecilia's Face. mistress of the Duke of Old Milan. Few enough of all my choices then were free. Oh, this is not Cecilia's face. It was a pretty dream from Leonardo's hand. And in good time, Cecilia's place became the foremost gathering in the land. I would gather to my circle all the writers of renown, all the poets and the thinkers I could find. The first salon in all Europe was where I had made it so, for the truest beauty lies within the mind. Now as the lady with the ermine, I'm an icon to the past. Blue and scarlet gowned, the ermine's robe so white. But the seekers after beauty bring me tribute even now. It's the painter's art that burns so very bright. This is not Cecilia's face. It was a pretty dream from Leonardo's hand. And in good time, Cecilia's place became the foremost gathering in the land. Non veda c'è un faccia bello il mondo, bella amante del duce di Milano. Chi sei che piangi per una bellezza che è andato? Non sei giovane, non sei giovane. So you are who stands there weeping at the beauty I possessed. Step close and introduce yourself to me. I was the celebrated mistress of the Duke of Old Milan, when a pretty face was all the world could see. When a pretty face was all the world could see. Thank you. I really wanted to be watching autumn through those.
I love that song.
Yes.
I'm hoping I'll be able to watch the stream later, because I think it's available afterwards, isn't it? Yeah. So I'll get to see what these lovely ladies are doing. Okay. Oh, yes. Should I switch instruments? Which is a really good cue for thanking Steve Savitsky, who isn't here, and Dara and Anna. Anna is here for. Oh, right. Hiya. Yes. That's just Steve who isn't. Right. Good. Yeah. For enabling me to play by lending me instruments and liaising with that backwards and forwards. And I'll also, at this point, thank Glenn, who has been my events imp over here. And without whom, yes, many things wouldn't have happened. What are we doing? Oh, yes. As we're on sort of history and historical women, well, a little bit more into the present day. Some of you know I knit. Who out there knits? Yes! Anybody got knitting with you? Whoa! Fantastic. This is your wave your knitting in the air song, okay? I can't knit at the same time because I'm playing the bouzouki, so I kind of have an excuse. But you probably know, of course, that Eleanor Roosevelt was an avid knitter. Very little of her work survives, but there are pictures, I believe, of her sitting very prim and dignified amongst politicians, diplomats, and heads of state, with her knitting bag at her feet. I always wanted to take my knitting bag into council. I've been involved in local politics for some years, but now that I've stepped out of it, I could go along to a meeting as a punter and knit through the meeting. I really want to do that. So, this is Eleanor Roosevelt's knitting. In a crucial debate,
knit one per one, yarn over, knit two together.
Tempers run high and hasty words fly.
Knit one per one, yarn over, knit two together.
Quiet words from the corner are heard, where the first lady's quietly sitting, and honours are traded and treaties are made, while Eleanor Roosevelt's knitting. Sing with me.
Eleanor Roosevelt, Eleanor Roosevelt, Eleanor Roosevelt singing.
Knit
One per one, yarn over, knit two together. Purl one, yarn over, knit two together. Purl one, yarn over, knit two together. Purl one, yarn over, knit two together.
Yarn over, knit two together. Now funding's discussed, we will do what we must.
Knit one, purl one, yarn over, knit two together.
Budgets are tight and despair's at its height.
Knit one, purl one, yarn over, knit two together.
Wisdom's required and everyone's tired, but the task's too important for quitting. Compassion and grace are etched clear on her face, while Eleanor Roosevelt's knitting. Oh, Eleanor Roosevelt, Eleanor Roosevelt's knitting.
Together, purl one, yarn over, knit two together. Purl one, yarn over, knit two together. Purl one, yarn over, knit two together.
So this is the pen that was handled by men.
Knit one, purl one, yarn over, knit two
That's
together.
signed into law, acts of commerce and war.
Knit one, purl one, yarn over, knit two
So
together.
as a chair, great men have sat there, and its place in our history is fitting. Here's the president's gun, here's the trophies he's won, and here's Eleanor Roosevelt, Eleanor Roosevelt, Eleanor Roosevelt sitting. Oh,
Eleanor Roosevelt, Eleanor Roosevelt, Eleanor Roosevelt sitting.
Sing with me.
Eleanor Roosevelt, Eleanor Roosevelt, Eleanor Roosevelt's knitting.
Oh,
Eleanor Roosevelt, Eleanor Roosevelt, Eleanor Roosevelt. Knit one, purl one, yarn over, knit two together. 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 Purl one, yarn over, knit two together.
Thank you. I'm going to change the set list now. Sorry, guys. I'm going to do something the band doesn't know, because I mean like that. I'm going to do this for Chantel at home, who has been fielding many, many things. She's my events fairy back in the UK, and she works very, very hard for me and supports me in all kinds of ways. And she's fantastic. So this is for her. It's called Tatticos. She puts on the garment of tatters and fragments, runs away into the night. No lady of leisure, but wild like a creature you'd meet on a midsummer's night. Oh, the man she's been waiting for crosses the bridge to the manor's own lands. She lets the rope part into beats of her heart. She burns in his hands. Oh, she burns in his hands. The spinning, the dyeing, the weaving, the baking, the children, servants, the giving, the taking. A wife 7 years and a mother for 5. She says, look at me, damn you, prove I'm alive. So she puts on the garment of tatters and fragments, runs away into the night. No lady of leisure, but wild like a creature you'd meet on a midsummer's night. Oh, the man she's been waiting for crosses the bridge to the manor's own lands. She lets the rope part into beats of her heart. She burns in his hands. Oh, she burns in his hands. Oh, she burns in his hands. She tries on the dresses of moonlight and starlight, and everyone stares, but she craves only his sight. He's home late, out early every damn day. If he's losing his love for her, wouldn't he say? So she puts on the garment of tatters and fragments, runs away into the light. No lady of leisure, but wild like a creature you meet on a midsummer's night. Oh, the man she's been waiting for crosses the bridge to the manor's own lands. She lets the rope part into beats of her heart. She burns in his hands. Oh, she burns in his hands. Oh, she's fire in his hands. She's learnt and she's learning. She's taking more time now. Oh, the clear broth is thickened, and she thinks she knows why now. Herbs make the difference, seasonings bind it. She'll wear the cloak once more if she can but find it. Where is the garment of tatters and fragments she bundled away out of sight? She goes as she is, but no less like a creature you'd meet on a midsummer's night. Oh, the man in the tatter coat waits for her right at the edge of his land. He lets the rope part into beats of her heart. She burns in his hands. Oh, she burns in his hands. Oh, she's fire in his hands. Oh, she burns in his hands. Oh. Thank you. Right. Oh, yes, I'm now going to introduce Dave Clement, and he's going to do a song, and I'm going to sit and get some water down my throat. So I'll put the guitar down again.
All right. Guitar then.
Over to you, Dave.
All right, thank you, Talis. As soon as I figure this all out here. Sometimes I think that they should make the strap a Moebius strip. And then I would always get on the right side sooner or later. Ah, there we are. This is an Archie Fisher song, but I learned it at the feet of Stan Rogers. And if some of you know the words, please, please feel free to jump in and sing along. It's called The Witch of the West Moorland. And there we are. and pale was the wounded knight that bore the rowan shield. Loud and cruel were the ravens' cries that feasted on the field, saying, "Beckwater cold and clear will never heal your wound. There's none but the witch of the Westmoreland can make thee hail and sound. So turn your stallion's head till his red mane flies in the wind, and the rider of the moon goes by, the bright star falls behind, and as clear was the paley moon when his shadow passed him by. Below the hills were the brightest stars when he heard the owlet cry, saying, "Why do you ride this way? And wherefore come you here? I seek the witch of the Westmoreland who dwells by the winding mere. Well, it's weary by the owl's water and the misty brake fern way, till through the cleft of the Kirkstone Pass the winding waters lay." Ho! He said, "Lie down, brindled hound, rest ye, me good grey hawk. Thee my steed may graze I fill, for I must dismount and walk. But come when ye hear my horn, answer swift the call, for I fear the sun will rise this morning, will serve me best of all. And it's down to the water's brim he's borne the rowan shield, and the golden rod he has cast in to see what the like might yield. And wet arose she from the lake, and fast and fleet went she, one half the form of a maiden fair, with a jet black mare's body, and loud, long, and shrill he blew, till the steed was by his side. Overhead the grey hawk flew, and swiftly he did ride, crying, "Course well, my brindled hound, rest ye, me good grey hawk. Me my steed, my graze I fill, I must dismount and walk." Ho! And she said, "Pray sheathe thy silvery sword, lay down the rowan shield, for I see by the briny blood that flows you've been wounded in the field." And she stood in a gown of velvet blue, bound round with a silver chain. She's kissed his pale lips once and twice, 3 times around again. And she bound his wood with a golden rod, full fast in her arms he lay. He has risen hale and sound with the sun high in the day. And she said, "Ride with your brindled hound at heel, your good grey hawk in hand. There's none can harm the knight who's lain with the witch of the Westmoreland." Oh, here we go.
Dave for the rest of the night, really.
I don't think they'd like that, Talis.
I would, because I get to hear you and watch the signers. Okay. We're knitting up here on stage. There we go. Knit one, purl one. Thank you.
Together. Yeah.
Right, I'm going to play Fast and Loose with a set list for the very good reason that I completely forgot one earlier, and it's one I want to do.
Okay.
So, let's do the orchard, shall we?
So I think this goes over the days.
I would not be in a band with me for any money. I really would not. But the guys seem to enjoy it. Seriously, I mean, we've been rehearsing it in a couple of hours here and a couple of hours there in hotel rooms, and every time we've had a rehearsal, I've said, "Oh, and there's these 10 more songs that we might do." Betsy here I'd just about broken her of the habit of apologising for not getting round to the last song when it was 5 in the morning. That's what a
This
trooper
morning.
she is. I am a
This morning.
brute. I really am a brute. So, never work with children, animals, and cellists. So, apparently, it takes 5 trees to make an orchard, and I have 5 trees back in my garden at home in Wiltshire, in England. 5 apple trees. That's right. They're very characterful, my apple trees, because they're all old varieties. I have Annie Elizabeth. I have Bess Poole. I have the General. I have Mr. Bide. Otherwise, Mr. Bide's walking stick. There's stories behind them all. And I'm a bit keen on things like apple trees and pear trees and medlows and plums. So who's got fruit trees in their garden? Yeah? Good things, good things. We need more of them. I know you've got a very, very green state. The number of trees everywhere driving around here. It's built up and it's built up, but there's trees everywhere. I don't see many fruit trees, though. You're going to need to work on that, Seattle. So get some fruit trees, all right, for next time I come back, okay? Is the what?
It's a little cold. Yeah. Eastern Washington.
We'll think about that.
Yeah.
Well, here's my view. It is a fine thing to plant an orchard and raise up young trees to bear sweet fruits. It's the leaf and the petal, it's the star in the circle. Bless the branch, bless the blossom, bless the root. Bless the branch, bless the blossom, bless the root. On the train from London, too tired to be reading, I watched the landscape through dirty glass, and there were fruit trees from apple cores seeding, flung from the window by travellers decades past. It is a fine thing to plant an orchard and raise up young trees to bear sweet fruit. It's the leaf and the petal, it's the star in the circle. Bless the branch, bless the blossom, bless the roots. Bless the branch, bless the blossom, bless the roots. And in my garden, I've 4 of my own now. Bess Poole and the General, Bernard or Mr. Bide, Annie Elizabeth, talisman from my childhood. They're young but they're green, and a daily source of pride. Oh, apple, medlar, peach and pear, fruit to store and fruit to share. Apple, green, gage, dance and plum, give it time and the fruit will come. It is a fine thing to plant an orchard and raise up young trees to bear sweet fruits. It's the leaf and the petal, it's the star in the circle. Bless the branch, bless the blossom, bless the root. We'll do the chorus. It is a fine thing to plant an orchard and raise up young trees to bear sweet fruits. It's the leaf and the petal, it's the star in the circle. Bless the branch, bless the blossom, bless the roots. Bless the branch, bless the blossom, bless the roots. Bless the branch, bless the blossom, bless the roots. It is a fine thing. And back to the set list. So, you guys are very recycling kind of people, aren't you, here in Seattle land? Yes, good. Who's ever grown herbs on your kitchen windowsill? Ooh, I'm not going to ask whether they lived or died. That is between you and your herb pots. You absolutely. Ah, right. You've got to. Yeah, you eat them. That's the point. It depends whether they are annuals or perennials. There will be a quiz after the show, right? So we'll do green places. song called Green Places, which is trying to say that even if you don't have a huge garden, although I have to say your acres and your half acres, good Lord, I come from a very squished little country, you know, where you have... And when a friend from Boston came to visit me about 20 years ago, when I lived in a normal-sized house in the UK, I still live in a normal-sized house, but it's a different normal-sized house, he came in and stood in the passageway and said, "It's a bit like being in a submarine, isn't it?" Yeah. Kitchen sink, herbery, basil and rosemary grow. In between jam jars and where the recycling goes. No room for more on the 17th floor of the tower. Still the rosemary flowers. That's all he needs, a few summoning seeds, and he's home in the clay and the loam. Marjorie's dahlias, pinks and azaleas.
Pinks and azaleas, pinks and azaleas.
Where she can see them in the garden outside of her room.
Outside her room.
Small as a courtyard, maybe it's a source of delight for the scent and the size. Sparrows and wandering bees are her visitors here, very small, very dear. Whispering with her promise and summer with all of her graces. If you're looking for Jack, then you'll find him. You'll find him in all the green places. Council allotments with leeks and shallots standing.
Leeks and shallots to grow.
Digging by twilight till coffee and comfy chair call.
Coffee and comfy chair.
Each year's a lesson, and this year's been spinach and chard. Well, July has been hard. You couple taking the clock down the path. They hold the oceans and the ropes. Whispering with her promise and summer with all of her graces. If you're looking for Jack, then you'll find him. You'll find him in all the green places.
Looking for Jack, are you looking for Jack?
And
Are you
there's still more green than there's gray. As it was me, the Jack who went away. Toss on the garage or like an untitled
like
stone.
on stone, like on stone?
Weeds in the pavement or where you can see the lands
Where
below.
you can
As
see
you
the
look around the hill, where it's fields and woodlands as far as the sky, and you know Jack's nearby. Even the smallest of greetings all playing their part, and he's there at the heart, whispering with her promise and summer with all of her graces. If you're looking for Jack, then you'll find him. You'll find him in all the green places.
Are you looking for Jack?
And
Are you
there's
looking
still
for Jack?
more
Are you
green
looking
than
for
there's
Jack?
gray.
Looking for
As
Jack?
it was me, the Jack who went
Went
away.
away. Looking for Jack? Are you looking for
There's
Jack?
spring with her promise and summer with all of her graces.
Looking for Jack?
If you're looking for Jack, then you'll find him. You'll find him in all the green places.
Are you looking for Jack? Are you looking for Jack? Are you looking for
Jack?
Jack?
Jack's in all the green, green places. Okay. I suspect some of you out there are Doctor Who watchers. So, oh, the very littlest signer is not happy. I was thinking they start them young here, don't they? You know, so mum's their signer, right, little bit, you know. This is Good Night, Sarah Jane. No, it's not. That's Helena. Wrong riff. This is Good Night, Sarah Jane. I will take my daughter out tonight. The moon's past full and the sky is still bright, and we'll say good night, Sarah Jane. We'll talk about the women we've been. I was an awkward girl, you were a star on screen for me. Good night, Sarah Jane. And you wouldn't stay quiet and hold your tongue, nor stay where you were put. No, it took a girl to be taught down to, hanging round underfoot. And against all odds you came back, carrying a series of your own. You inspired me at my daughter's age, and again as a woman grown. I shall hope that time's a gentle place for a well-loved woman of charm and grace. That's you. Good night, Sarah Jane. You were smart and strong and you made us proud. And I'm crying again, but I'll say it aloud anyway. Good night, Sarah Jane. Good night, Sarah Jane. In a blue box, missing a few spare parts, we're carrying you in all of our hearts now. Rest well. So I'll take my daughter out tonight, tell her of Katie Coleman's flight and you, and say good night, Sarah Jane. And we'll both say good night, Sarah Jane. Good night, Sarah Jane. Thank you. Well, so that mentioned my daughter, and I really did take Pippa out and tell her about Katie Coleman, and Pippa had loved my lass, she's 10. She'd loved the Sarah Jane Adventures. In fact, she found them really before I did. I knew they were there, but I hadn't got round to watching them until Pippa said, come and watch Sarah Jane Adventures with me, it's really good. And it was. And I got all geeky on her saying, oh, that's so-and-so. You see, that's really funny because back in Classic Who 30 years ago, yeah. John Pertwee. So, the band here are wondering what I'm going to do next. I'm actually sticking to the set list for the moment, guys. This is a song I have sung to my daughter very many bedtimes. So, I should know this one now. And if you know it, sing with me. You see, when Pippa first clapped eyes on the William Waterhouse picture of the mermaid where she's combing her hair out. I used to have longer hair then. She looked at it, she was quite little, and she said, "Mummy, that's you when you were a mermaid." So it's probably, I don't know whether it's Pippa's bedtime, lunchtime or whatever, but anyhow, somewhere. When I was a mermaid, my daughter, my dear, and a long time before I had you, I lived in the ocean a long way from here, and sometimes my stories are true. I sang with the same voice, my cherub, my child, that sings in the night time to you. Though my eyes were more green, my hair was more wild, and sometimes my stories are true. The sky was so bright then, my honey, my heart, the ocean so deep and so blue. But it can be lonely to live all apart, and sometimes my stories are true. So when I was a mermaid, my daughter, my dear, and a great many other things too, I think that I wished very hard to be here, For the daughter I wanted was you, because sometimes my stories come true. Thank you. I like the coffee pot accompaniment. It's splooshy, which is good because we're on sea songs. Saw your light on, so I came to find you. Saw you packing, and I wondered why. You were crying as you turned to face me, crying as you said goodbye. On the bed beside your half-filled suitcase, the shawl I found you in, the world I hid. You said nothing, but you saw me looking, and you know why I did what I did. I never thought that I could hold you forever. Always knew deep down that you'd have to go home. I can be grateful for these bright years together, and I know you miss the salt sea foam. If you hurry, you can still catch the tide, my love. If you hurry, you can still catch the tide. I'm not sorry that I kept you by me. I've never lied to you, and I won't start now. In a few years' time, perhaps you might just forgive me. Forgive me if the sea allows. I won't expect you to remember me kindly. Too much to hope for after what I've done. I could move inland here, the sea would just remind me. And anyway, I guess you'd better run. I never thought that I could hold you forever. Always knew down that you'd have to go home. I can be grateful for these bright years together, and I know you miss the salt sea foam. If you hurry, you can still catch the tide, my love. If you hurry, you can still catch the tide. Every morning now, I sit here and watch for you. I know it's hopeless, but I have to try. I don't dare move away in case I miss you, but one day you might just swim by. So you and the sea have had a fine and fitting vengeance. I'm no more capable of living here than I left you able to return to your sea dreams. I'm sorry now. I'm sorry now. Do you hear? I never thought that I could hold you forever. Always deep down that you'd have to go home. I can be grateful for these bright years together, and you know you miss the salt sea foam. If you hurry, you can still catch the tide, my love. If you hurry, you can still catch the tide. Always deep down, you'd have to go home. I can be grateful for these bright years together, and I know you miss the soul. She's popular, with a footstool and a parasol, and tortoiseshell combs in her hair, in her hair. Darjeeling rides with Russian caravan through mountain country to pay calls on China Yunnan. Talis a Yorkshire boy for sure. He knows the ladies wouldn't let him in the door. They wouldn't let him in the door. Ladies highball. Talis a Yorkshire boy for sure. He knows the ladies wouldn't let him in the door, but he's the one, the old one hanging around when you're cold and wet and miserable and your world's just fallen down. And with a really long gap, I get to look at the sign now, which is really mean. Orange pekoe may seduce Earl Grey. Salon and lemon plot while I summers away. Barefoot and drunk on sarsaparilla. There goes the tie-dyed upstart hippie, rhubarb with vanilla. And she's entirely caffeine-free. Sadly, the Yorkshire boy for sure. He knows the ladies wouldn't let him in the door. But he's the one they all want hanging around when you're cold and wet and miserable and your world's just falling down. Oh, I'm having too much fun up here. And all these stories finally achieve a sweet conclusion in my round brown Denby teapot as a fine infusion. Stick kettle on, eh? Give us 10 minutes, get yourself a drink, restroom stop. See you in 10, thank you.